Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water again, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Today's movie review, it's a sequel to one of the greatest films ever made. And the sequel's not that great by comparison, but it's passable to say the least. Today's film is Jaws 2.
Shattered trust.
I know what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. Xerox Frank, it's really late in the summer for you to review a shark film at this point. Considering the fact that, I don't know, I should have done this like way back in July, or maybe the fact that I should have done this during Shark Week. Yeah, Shark Week just came and went, and I had no idea about it, and I just kind of missed out on it. So, whatever. And honestly, God only knows when the hell this film takes place. And I know it takes place during the summer. It just didn't say when. I mean, it probably takes place in August for all I know. Yeah. So just to recap, Jaws was a huge success. In fact, it was the first summer blockbuster film ever made in existence, thus coining the term summer blockbuster. And what's this year's summer blockbuster? Superman. Yeah. I mean, go figure. I mean, this year's summer blockbuster is literally James Gunn's Superman. I mean, from what I found out about, I never saw Fantastic Four, and honestly, I really don't want to see it personally because it's MCU, and considering how far down the shitter the MCU's gone, so it's like not even worth it at this point. Yeah, not even worth it. Jurassic World Rebirth, I heard they didn't do so well. Although ironically, Primitive War actually did better, which is actually a R-rated dinosaur film that would have been better if it was low budget, but it actually did surprisingly successful. I probably should watch that. I should probably watch that movie when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, or streaming, whatever. Either way, today we're going to talk about the sequel, Jaws 2. Now, this movie takes place several years later, back on Amity Island, and you would think that, it's all done, like there's no shark, we're gonna have another shark attack at Amity Island. Yeah, no, the movie literally begins in the middle of off the coast of Amity Island, where the Orca actually is. That's right. The ship from the first movie, the Orca, where it sank, we have a couple of rich divers down there taking photos of the damn thing because, why not actually check out the boat that actually stopped the shark attack that happened here on Amity Island that caused several deaths? And lo and behold, as they're taking pictures, they get attacked by by Jaws. Yep, the shark comes back and just punches them up, and they take a photograph of it. Supposedly, I don't know. The camera's still their underwater camera is literally still flashing the camera as they're getting devoured. All right. And then we see Chief Brody and just doing mundane things to go to a hotel opening where the high school kids are, and his wife was actually the organizer the whole time. So yeah, they're basically just going through all their mundane lives, and Mike and Sean are actually trying to enjoy their summer a little bit more. But Mike is now actually trying to get himself is set up with a hot date. Nice. It's a little teenage subplot that kind of goes nowhere, but whatever. Actually, if the girl was the same character that was in Jaws 3, that would have made more sense, but it's clearly a different character altogether. But, hey, whatever. What are you going to do with these movies, am I right? Now, on the side note, I didn't know there was a Jaws 3 when I was a kid. Yeah, when I first saw Jaws, I thought that was it. And then I found out there was another Jaws film called Jaws the Revenge. I'm like, what the what? There's another Jaws film? And I found out it's actually the fourth film in the franchise. That being said, I was surprised to find out there was actually a second and third movie. So my little mind just went, yeah. And I made the mistake of watching the fourth film right after, right before I watched the second and third films. Actually, joking aside, I kind of thought the fourth film was the third. When it was the third film, I found out there was another Jaws film called Jaws 3D. That's what I found out. It makes me wonder how many. There's a Back to the Future reference joke here. But I'm not gonna bother with that. And to make matters even more screwed up, there's actually a fifth film that's unauthorized. Oh, let's just continue. Let's continue on with this, shall we? So yeah, most of them are just go. So yeah, so we have a new shark that's roaming around the waters in Amity Island, and of course, as the kids are playing around the water, it tries to attack Mike, but of course misses, but goes after a water skier and her mother who's driving the boat. So it picks off the water skier and then attacks the boat. And I should mention, we don't really see the shark's face that much in the first half of this movie at all. It's kind of blurred out. But then the mother gets attacked. After he kills the water skier, it goes after the mother, who actually starts to fight it off and stupidly tries to throw gasoline on her, but she pours the gasoline all over her, and then does the dumbest thing ever by taking a flare gun out and trying to fire at the shark. Okay, you know where this is going, right? I mean, seriously. Even as a kid, I knew this was beyond stupid. All right, I mean, I'm a little kid. I'm watching this sequence. I'm going, is this woman that stupid? Is she really that stupid? I mean, she is literally doused in gasoline, and she pulls out a flare gun to fire at the shark, who is not only covered in gasoline, but also most of the boat she's on, and she's covered in gasoline too. It just rolls off with stupidityness, am I right? Yeah, I know where people are scared shitless, they tend to do really stupid shit, but this is a whole new level of beyond stupid. So yeah, fires the flare gun, the shark's half of his face here catches on fire. He goes underwater trying to cool himself off. As for the boat and the mother, they catch on fire and blow the fuck up. Are you even that surprised? I mean, are you really surprised that this had just happened? Are you? I'm sure as hell not. Anyway, Brody actually tells Hendrix to actually start dragging. Takes the cop boat out and starts dragging the water. And they have one hell of a tide. And I should mention they've been having one hell of a tide this month. And after the witness statements, nothing happened. Nobody saw anything, just the explosion. Really, you didn't hear the woman screaming her lungs out, shark? I mean, you didn't hear that? I mean, you didn't see the boat was just standing there rocking around? You didn't see a shark fin or a shark head on fire? You didn't see that? No. Well, maybe they were fine and then bang. You people need peripheral vision. The level of stupidity is beyond me at this point. So anyway, as the day drags on, Hendrix and the boat guy actually pick something up. They pull it in. They actually pull it in, and it's a giant power line from Cable Junction. So they just drop it and leave. Anyway, the investigation practically goes nowhere, and Brody's still at the station. He's getting hit with a lot of crap, with a bunch of people complaining about a bunch of stupid shit. And Hendrix comes right in, and he comes in with a camera. And it's actually the same camera that those rich guys from earlier had, and their boat was actually and they stole the boat recently. So Brody tells them to actually go through it and see and find out who these guys were. And it turns out they're a bunch of rich guys from Connecticut, and they just came down to actually, get some sights and see the sights and stuff. Okay, great. As for the kids, they're actually off by the Lighthouse Island, which is a small island that actually has a giant lighthouse. This is off Amity Island. And what do the kids find? A dead orca carcass. Wow, that's straight up disturbing. Now, I know this is kind of harsh, but I think maybe this is the movie taking a jab at the movie Orca, which came out probably around the same time. And in that movie, the orca literally actually sucker punched a great white shark, and it starts screeching like a bitch. In that movie, kind of saying "Screw you, Jaws! I'm a much more better killer." And this is the movie getting back, and this is Jaws literally getting back at Orca. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, okay, makes a lot of sense. Though, to be fair, orcas that are actually in captivity are much more aggressive to humans, rather than orcas that are in the wild who are not aggressive to humans at all whatsoever, which is a little weird. But then again, they're very intelligent animals. So Brody and a shark and an animal expert come by, and they actually take some measurements. And in Brody's mind, he's certain that it's another shark attack, and that this was done by another great white shark. All right, it's basically due to the fact he's actually suffered from trauma, suffering from PTSD and trauma from the last shark attack. And honestly, could you blame him? I mean, dude, he almost died in the last movie, so it's clearly obvious he's having some PTSD issues. But it's clearly obvious to know that he sees it as another shark attack, and honestly, it looks like another shark attack. But the experts are looking at it like, no, they're not too sure. We're seeing these massive chunks of bite marks on the whale, and it's clearly obvious that it was clearly the shark that did this. But they're saying it could have been a great white or another killer whale. Okay, whatever. Sure, fine, go with that explanation. Okay, that does make a little bit more sense. You know, sometimes killer whales can be a little bit more territorial, so who knows. So, okay, Brody tries telling the mayor, Vaughn, that he may have another shark attack. But Vaughn tries to tell him, tries to dismiss it, of course, and it's probably not another shark attack, but he's also on edge because he also has PTSD from what happened last time. So Brody makes some specialized bullets for a shark filled with poison, and also he realizes he's late going home. But before he goes home, he tells Hendricks to actually get the underwater camera and then this film developed, so they can actually find out what the hell these guys are doing. And so he goes home, and mainly because and also he gets a call from Hooper. Trying to ask him to come back over, but the thing is, he's in the Antarctic Ocean, and he's going to be out of radio range until next spring. Terrific. Am I right or what? Anyway, so Brody actually goes to a shark tower one day. Actually, he's just scoping out in the shark tower, keeping an eye out for the shark. And he spots something in the distance, and he tells people to get away. And he starts shooting at the damn thing, only to find out it's literally just a pack of bluefish. So yeah, there's some skeptical remarks saying that the shark actually put them up. May have actually tricked the bluefish to go in that area, but I don't know at this point. I doubt the shark is that smart. All right. Anyway, from the looks of it, people think that Brody had a massive mental breakdown. And before this whole thing had happened, he actually grounded Mike to make sure he doesn't go into the water anymore. But of course, Mike actually is going to be decides to hang out with the teenagers more this summer after his dad actually had a mental breakdown. Or so it looks like he had a mental breakdown. The Chief is in his office having a smoke and a drink, and then he actually gets a call from the film developer, and he tells him that the film's almost developed. He heads down there, and he sees the film being developed, and he notices, okay, these are definitely that of the Orca, because obviously he was actually on the Orca, so yeah, he figured it out. And the last film that was being developed is actually a picture of the shark with part of its face, the eye, and part of its mouth, but it's like close up to the camera. Since Brody actually has been this close to the shark, clearly shark. Brody, he was this close to the fucking shark, he knows what the damn thing looks like. So yeah, he figured out immediately it's actually the shark. So he goes to the town hall meeting where they're having a meeting whether to get him removed or not. He shows them the photo, and they don't see it. They're a bunch of fucking idiots at this point. Alright, and here's the thing. Yeah, I know it looks like he's having a mental breakdown, but also, people, you remember the shark attack you guys had a few years back? Alright, this guy went face to face with the fucking thing before he blew it up with an air tank. So they tell him to sit there while they go inside the main office to actually vote to have him removed. Now, here's a bit of a fun fact. There's actually a deleted scene in this movie that a lot of people found out they should have stayed in the movie regardless, though. But it actually shows character development real quick. Right? Pretty much everybody actually voted to actually have Brody removed from office as the police chief. All except for Vaughn, the mayor. Yeah, Vaughn actually doesn't want to get rid of him as the mayor because he actually believes that there actually is another shark out there because he remembers that his kid was because not only was Brody's kid in trouble the last time around, but also his son was with Brody's kid when the shark actually attacked his son in the first movie. So yeah, he actually takes things seriously when it comes down to Brody's depiction, his prediction on shark attacks. So yeah, he's the only one that actually stood up for Brody. So, unfortunately, the council said no, get him removed. So Brody heads to his house. Hendrix is there trying to comfort Ellen. So So what does Brody do? He appoints Hendrix as the new chief of police, and he gets a little drunk and sleeps in with his wife. While Hendrix is like, bye. The next morning, Mike and Sean actually want to go actually take a trip with the other kid, with all the other teenagers when it comes to boating. Yeah, they're gonna spend all day at the lighthouse. Great. While that happens, guess what happens after that? Guess what happens? Yeah, they pass by a couple of guys about to go about to do some lobster hunting. One guy is actually so deep in the water, he actually meets up with the shark. Yeah, and we actually see that the shark's face is mostly scarred, kind of like the whole Two-Face scandal. So the guy freaks out and he swims all the way back up to the has a panic attack and swims all the way back up to the surface. And I gotta be honest, that's like 50 feet in the water, okay? And he just swam all the way right up to the surface so fast that he actually wound up getting air bubbles into his lungs and his bloodstream. So they actually try to put him ashore. So they actually get him aboard and they try sailing him ashore. But here's the thing: nobody realized that if somebody just turned their head around, they could see there's a shark heading straight for the kids. Peripheral vision. What's that? I don't know. These guys sure as hell don't know. Anyway, the shark attacks one like one of the most popular attacks two kids, and it eats one of the boy. It eats the boy, and the girl is just there screaming her lungs out. And then back on shore, Brody and Ellen actually discover there's an ambulance being brought over, so they actually follow the ambulance because he's curious. And then they find Hendrix is there, and they find out exactly the guy had a panic attack. Had a legitimate panic attack. And he said it just happened right after the kids went out. And when they found out that Mike and Sean were with them, Brody actually just jumped onto the compo and commandeers it. Hendrix likes to stop him and was like, oh, fuck this. Come on, let's go. All right, come on, Chief. Let's go. But you're the chief now. The way I see, you're still the chief. So they do head out there and they find the girl. They find the other boat that was attacked earlier, and they discover the girl is out there, and she is freaking the hell out because she's screaming shark, shark, shark. And it turns out Brody was fucking right the whole time. Yeah, Ellen was actually skeptical. Hendrix was semi-skeptical, but now they have a witness to a shark attack. Nobody's skeptical anymore. He was right. So yeah, Brody so he leaves them with the girl because there's a Coast Guard ship nearby. So he signals it to bring it over, and he heads over to the lighthouse. And the kids, they decide to go past the lighthouse, and guess what happens? The shark winds up attacking them. Yep, it starts attacking him. It eats like one or two people. He eats somebody, and then Mike gets knocked the fuck out. And one ship is still capable of sailing, and they pick up Mike, who's actually knocked the fuck out, and that ship actually tries their best to sail back to the lighthouse to get some help and to call the Coast Guard. Meanwhile, Brody's already there. They do finally catch up with him, and they tell him where the rest of the people are, and they're heading straight to Cable Junction. Meanwhile, the kids are just basically tying all the loose bolt parts together and actually make a break and actually trying to float towards Cable Junction. And from time to time, the shark does wind up attacking them. The Coast Guard actually sends a helicopter out there. It lands in the water and it throws them a line. And guess what happens? The shark attacks the helicopter and brings it all the way down. There is a deleted scene that actually shows the shark that the guy actually is trying to fight off the shark, but he gets killed regardless. So that was a wasted scene. That was completely a waste of a scene. So the kids do wind up making it to Cable Junction. Brody's is on his way over there, they make it to Cable Junction, and the shark continuously attacks them. While Brody actually tries his best, makes it over there, tries to fight it off, but he actually winds up running ashore on Cable Junction. And I should mention that the kids were actually I should mention at this point in time, the kids were actually freaking out completely, because it turns out during the making of the movie, there was actually a hammerhead shark, an actual hammerhead shark in the water at that point. Nobody realized it, but the shark got scared away because of the animatronic shark, the animatronic great white scared it off. Wow. Nice to know that the shark actually did something good behind the scenes. So Brody actually tosses the cable out to them, and tosses out the cable to them. He tries to drag it, but it got snagged on something. So he reels it in, and it's actually a power line he reels in. And he realizes, wait a minute, power line, shark. Power line, shark. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, the shark continuously attacks them, and most of the kids actually wind up swimming up to Cable Junction, only leaving 2 kids on the boat, which is Sean and of course Mike's date, which is ridiculous. Anyway, so Brody actually climbs down using the power line. He gets on the raft, he gets an oar, and he starts smacking the shit out of the power line, which of course the shark stops his attack and goes back into the water. Where is he? He's out to sea again, and he grabs the oar and he starts smacking it against the power line. Okay, what's that supposed to do? Well, it turns out that sharks are attracted to sound. So, yeah, he's smacking a power line. That way the shark would attack it. Do the math. So, yeah, the shark comes all the way. He keeps smacking it. He yells at the shark, "Come on, you son of a bitch! Come on, come on!" And by the time the shark gets all the way up to it, he throws the power line into the mouth, and the shark bites into it and electrocutes itself, killing it, basically turning it into freaking barbecue at this point. So, yeah, Brody kills another fucking shark. And I should mention this is the only film that Jaws is not killed by an explosion. Yeah, I know it's stupid because, like, if you actually watch the Nostalgia Critics review from, like, back years ago, he made a comment saying that Jaws keeps blowing up in every one of his movies. Yeah, here's the thing. Clearly, the Nostalgia Critic did not do his research because, one, the first movie he blows up, the shark blows up in the first movie. The second movie, he gets electrocuted and gets fried. Third movie, he gets blown up in the most glorious way possible. That's ridiculous as all hell. The fourth movie is very complicated because there's 2 endings to it. There's the theatrical and then there's the television cut version of the movie. And would you believe the television cut version is the actual ending, which is ridiculous. The television cut version, the theatrical cut version, the shark clearly blows up, but the television cut version, he gets speared into the neck and bleeds to death. Okay, so technically. So what? Jaws officially dies in 2 films by blowing up. The second one, he gets electrocuted. The fourth one's complicated as fuck. Seriously. Whatever. So yeah. Anyways, Brody rescues the girl and his son, and he waits for the Coast Guard to get them back to safety. And that, my friends, was Jaws 2. Isn't it a good movie? Well, let me be honest with you. Compared to this movie, it's not that good. Yeah. Okay, look. Clearly between these 2, this is the superior film. This one, not so much. Alright? Alright, it's clearly not the superior movie, but I will say this. The movie itself is okay. It's passable at best. But it's a sequel to Jaws, alright? Though, to be fair, with the other sequels that followed up afterwards, it's not the stupidest sequel ever. I mean, if I had to choose which sequel was probably the best sequel, most likely would be this one. But the third film was just fucking ridiculous. The fourth film, why was that movie even made? So yeah, it's not really worth it at all. So, if you want to see an actual good movie, Jaws 2, just watch the first fucking movie, alright, and ignore the sequel. That being said, Thank you for watching today's review, and I hope you all have a good day. York's Frank.
Empty promises, a fading light, consumed by shadows.